Okay, this is part two of the streak plate. So I have my loop. I have a plate of bacteria, E. coli K12, non-pathogenic. And non-pathogenic means what? And you should be able to look that up or know that already. All right, so I'm going to flame the loop. If I had a Bunsen burner, I'd start at the tip and get a red hot from the tip of this loop all the way up the wire in sequence until I get to the barrel or the handle. Then I stop, let it cool for 5 seconds. Then you can go into your plate and find a single isolated colony and do that. All right, so I'm going to put this into the incinerator, and it gets it red hot, and bring it out, let it cool for a bit. So I'm gonna, and when I lift this open, I'm just gonna open it up in a direction that's away from me so I don't cough on it or spatter on it, and find my colony. And I want to look at the one that I used last time. Which is right here. Okay, and all you need is a speck. Okay, then I'm going to take my plate and I'm going to do the same protection with the lid, and I'm going to go underneath that. Remember, the lid's opened away from you, and then I'm going to streak it a quarter of the zone, wall to wall. And you got to be careful. Sometimes these are a little bit thin, and you can tear the auger. Not to worry, it still works if it does tear. Go ahead and heat this, rotate it 90 degrees, and then we're going to come in, touch the plate somewhere else to cool the loop, and we're going to go in a couple times. Just stay out, and we're going to go in here to heat it, incinerate it, and we're going to rotate it one more time, and we're going to do the 2 or 3 times inside that, and then we'll get wider and wider until we finally have a zone. And the reason why we have them wider is that we have separation of the final colonies that we can use for our sample. Let me inoculate this one more time, and then we're ready to go. This can be put down. All right, so I want to also do one with a split plate. So if it's not a wall in there, so I'm going to draw on the bottom back side of it, because if I put a mark here, the lid rotates. And so if you try to split the top here by doing a line through here, through the top, then you risk throwing your way off. So it has to be the bottom place that's not going to move from the bacteria. Okay, so we're going to go into our colony, same one. Okay, sterilize this, and then we are going to touch it down and drag it through a little bit of the colony, and we don't go back in to heat it, and we go here, touch it, and do it zone 1. Rotate it, go into the first zone a couple times, and we're going to do the third zone. And then the third zone spreads out. One thing you want to watch is that you give it quite a light touch. So if you push down too hard, you can have a really wide streak. If you do that, then you end up carrying a lot of bacteria into the next zone. So you want to use the tip of the auger, or tip of the inoculating loop. Okay, so we're going to heat this, and then we'll be done with that And so again, we label them. So this is going to be E. coli K12 and the date and your initials. And this E. coli, you want to put it in temperature that you got the sample, what temperature it ran at. It's going to be 37 degrees. So we'll put these in 37-degree incubator. Now, for the very important thing that you should never, ever, ever forget. When you put these in the incubator, that's warm temperature and it drives off moisture, and the moisture will raise up and condense on the lid. So if you put it right side up, so the lid is up here, then the moisture will leave the agar somewhat and then make all sorts of droplets forming on the lid, and then when you take this out, or you actually even before, those droplets loosen and they fall onto your streak plate, and your beautifully done streak plate is no more. It just wipes everything into a new pattern and you have no isolated colonies usually. So always flip it over and incubate it and store it always upside down. Okay, even when it's in the refrigerator, done. Okay. And then one last thing, we want to take care of the stock that we started with. We don't want it to dry out because could have taken a long time. At the University of Washington, I worked on a project and we were working on a bacteria that we isolated like 2 or 3 years before, and we didn't want to lose those stocks, so we kept good care of our stocks. So this is parafilm. It's a stretchy plastic, and I'm going to fold it in half. It's about 4 inches long. You can tug on it, and if you tug too much, if it's old, it'll tear and break. Hold it with one finger, pull, anchor it, pull, anchor. And I was a little bit short because it broke off, but luckily I have another one here. So I grab it and bring it around. Okay, now this is ready to store. It keeps it from evaporating thing. I still store it upside down in the refrigerator. These two will go in 37-degree incubator.